All right, everybody. Gentlemen's Bureau episode 20. And we have the long requested guest, Logan Roe, my little bro, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that's ready to rock and melt your faces off with gut busting bass lines and shreds on a
All right.
guitar that melt even the prettiest of girls' panties. I tell you what, come on, Logan, give it to me. What's new? What's happening?
Well, after that cringy intro, what's up, Logan? How
Yeah.
you been, man? What's going on?
Just been melting faces as my general occupation. I melt
I
faces.
heard you were you were slamming bass riffs according to your brother. I don't know. I don't know really what's going on with your life, but it's nice to have you on. You were highly requested.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah.
to be on, man. It's been.
Technical difficulties.
I'll have to edit this one, but just say it again. You're
Nah,
happy
leave
to.
that shit in. That's hilarious.
Rolling with the punches.
No, I'm happy to be on the bureau, man. I've been watching you guys since the first episode. I'd probably say I might just be your number one fan.
Hey.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Your mom comments on every video, bruh.
Well, she stopped. I think doing that.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She would just do a summary of what everything we talked about. It's like, okay, well now.
Timestamps. We just had her. We could have probably hired her for timestamps, but.
Oh, she most definitely could have did editing. Yes.
Joking about actually having her edit our videos. Like, no offense. I'm just saying, like, I want to see how that would turn out. Like, my fucking God. That'd be funny.
She would leave things in that should not be left in.
She'd be like, I thought it was all right. Yeah, maybe back in the early 1900s, that would have been all right to say. Like,
well, sometimes you just gotta tell a woman what her place is. I don't understand. You guys don't think that's cool anymore?
Dad told me all the time.
Oh, let's break the ice. Let's break the ice with a good dad story. Logan will love this one too, because this is one of the funniest ones I've ever experienced. So I'm coming back home from college, and my car is dirty. My mom's like, clean your fucking car. And she's like, a matter of fact, we need to clean all of our cars out because it's a Sunday night and she's just looking for an excuse for all of us to do something, I guess. I don't know. It's like, we're trying to relax. It's literally like 9 o'clock at night. We're not going to just jump out and fucking start cleaning cars, right? But what ends up happening? She looks at my dad and said, I'll suck your dick if you fucking clean the car. He's like, he shot out of the room.
Jesus Christ, one of these stories. I thought it would be more of like a funny story. I don't want to pull out your mom and dad's sexual fucking.
It was just hilarious because I think
it's a very dangerous thing being related to someone on the podcast. Cause
it was just my parents. They're fucking nuts, you know. They chase each other around like teenagers in their 50s. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, I just remember. I think he was like lying down watching like one of his favorite TV shows. He didn't give a shit. He just bam. He threw his PJs off, threw his fucking clothes on. He just got out there. He cleaned all 3 cars. Back inside in like less than 30 minutes.
That's wild.
I then left. I don't know what happened after that. Maybe.
Well, I think that was normal. You just left, man.
I would expect you to stay around and hang out.
Sunday morning, 9 a.m., and she would get like revved up, get her all sassed up, time to rock. And Mark's like, well, I guess I'll be at the O'Donoghue's. Time to take my car out. And he'd go to his best friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
I remember like any time.
He had one move. He would show up there at any hour of the day. It could be at like 6 a.m., but as long as he would stop and bring a case of donuts, it was okay. He would just show up with like, I brought donuts.
Yeah. He brought tithes and offerings.
Yeah.
That's right. Donuts.
Always in the morning, like you'd get waken up, and like you weren't ready to get waken up, but you'd get woken up by get the fuck up and fucking. She's always vacuuming and like she fucking was ready to go, and if you were not on par, sorry about it.
Yeah.
You get woken up.
And Mark
can't
would
wake
get
up
out of
in 5
there
seconds?
before Lane and me asked to get a ride to town with him. We were like, "Hey man, we want to go to the party." And it's like, I got to get out of here before these kids start bugging my ass.
Yeah.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
Yeah. We had our times.
That's right. Speaking of times, we got a request for the car story with Logan and Lane.
Well, we gave the car story. I gave the car story already. But you know,
no. All right.
No, you know what this is, Logan? This is Mark making sure that the story lines up with the story that I told. That's what this whole thing is. This isn't even about who requested it, Mark. Eh?
I don't know.
Fucking you, that's who.
Yeah,
Probably fucking Elon Musk or Hingham.
He's just thinking, I still haven't got the real story.
I never will. I never will. God damn it.
No, I don't give a fuck. I mean, we already told it, but
No, we already told it, but I was maybe I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys separately. We'll see what really happens.
It was that Trevor kid, man.
I'm gonna call Trevor too. I'm gonna call Trevor too.
You know, the worst part of the whole story was this one kid, man. Trevor, if you're watching this, been too long. What's up, buddy? And he was like, "No, I'm just gonna sleep on this couch." You know, he was being a good kid. And when we got back, we're like, he's kind of the outsider. We blamed the whole thing on this boy. And he was all into cars and like he was a redneck. So yeah, it was the most believable thing that this redneck wanted to go out cruising.
Motor in a seat and wheels. He'd be like, "Can I fucking drive it?" Like that was just him. That was his mentality. Like,
oh yeah,
so believable. Like we were like, well, that's the perfect fucking. Well, I think it was Trevor. Me and Logan were just being good kids down in the basement.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Since we'll never get that story straight. Elon Musk just
commented on your video.
No. God damn it. He will. Shut up.
Count, man. You.
Yeah.
He just released his own tequila. Tesla tequila. Did you guys see that?
Well, I'm not as impressed with that. This guy's like a super genius. He's in LA building roads under the city and shit. And now he's like, well, I get people drunk too.
Hey man, it's probably for the same reason that he sold the freaking Nada flamethrowers, you know, just to have some extra budget.
I get his choice, right? He's like, well, you have a self-driving car for a reason. So when you get up with my whiskey, you have the self-driving car to get you home. So he's cornering the market on this, and no one is batting an eye and stopping. I think.
I seen he just sold like 3 houses in California for, I think it was like $29 million or something. One of them.
He had a bunch of extra houses, and he's like, I only need one house. I know that he at least at one point, I don't know if it was one of the ones that he sold, but at some point he owned Gene Wilder's house. Yeah. And like what he said about it, was like it's like a bunch of like weird passageways, like doors that lead to nowhere, you know, a bunch of like little secret stuff, and like all like the art and the stuff that's decorating the place like cannot be touched. Like the estate made that clear when they sold it to him. And, like he has to make it clear to who he sells it to. Like you cannot change anything about the house. It has to stay how it is.
Who's gonna do anything about it? What are they gonna do if he changes something about the house?
Well, a little bit about real estate law actually is if you actually do touch and you do so there's things called covenants, and that would be a covenant and a conditions and covenants. So that is a condition and covenant. So when you sell the house, you like it sounds bonkers, right? Like, but you can legally do it. So I think he just wanted to like flex on people and be like, yeah, if you touch it, I get the estate back. Like that's essentially what happens. So when Elon Musk sells this, and he finds out somehow, I don't know how he would, it's often like a reversionary estate or so like it just goes back to Elon if anything were to happen like that because he broke the contract essentially. So.
Well, actually, I think it would go back to the original like estate. Like whoever was taking care of Gene Wilder's estate, it would go back to them because they're the ones that had the original covenant.
But who has the title to the home, Jed?
I don't know, dude.
Exactly. But you're talking to someone who studies real estate, so I'm telling you what it is. It goes if Elon, obviously Elon owned the house, he sold the house, he had the title. He did the deed transfer, and now it would go back to him as a reversionary estate. So
well, yeah, I get that, but like
makes sense.
But like if he had that, if the people who sold it to Elon had the covenant in the first place, then the Elon messes with something.
Well, then Elon never changed it.
Did Elon touch it? Was Elon the one to do it? No, Elon sold it as was, free and clear. Elon owned the home. This is just a condition that was in the home. I'm not including this in the podcast. I'm just letting you know that's how it is.
Look it up. Now we know. I mean, come on, we're informative as well, not just.
I just don't want to be a dick, and because I'm coming off as a dick just because Jed keeps asking questions, and I'm like, I don't know how you don't get it. Like,
what's a dick?
No, if that was the case. That's the case. I would just put that in any house I sold, even if I'm a regular person. I'd be like, if I touch base before you, tag you're it.
Well, then you wouldn't buy the home.
I get down to the house and I touch the furnace, and you're not home. It's fine.
That's something, right? It's called an encumbrance at that point. It's called an encumbrance, and people don't want to buy homes that have encumbrances on it. And the chances of selling a home where you make some dumbass rule like that are very slim. You're not going to be able to sell that home. No one's going to want that shit. Like, if you fart at 3 a.m. on a fucking sofa piece that you can't leave, you can't take out of the home, shit like that. Like, no, your house, that's never going to be sold. Like, and who's the fuck's going to, like, yeah.
So, anyway,
you just put that, like, you put it in the contract somewhere, be like, yeah, can you sign right here? And they're like, oh, should I read that? I'm like, nah, I don't need to read that.
Well, that's why you only hear about it on these, like, $1 million houses.
Okay.
They have value and.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it has all this nostalgic value to the person, so.
Yeah, you just gotta find, like, a nice piece of property that's, like, I don't know, like, Los Angeles or something, or, like, really nice property in Hawaii, and you start making ridiculous rules that people are still willing to, like, follow to get
Wilder's home. It makes sense, and it's not a crazy condition or restriction, encumbrance, because it's like, yeah, I agree. I don't want to touch that because it's like preserving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was Gene Wilder's. It's preserving it. Like, I would still take a home like that. It's not an outrageous request. Right?
Yeah, I think for, like, as far as, like, furniture goes, I think you could still, like, swap out the furniture and stuff, but I think it's just, like, the paintings that are on the walls and, like, the general, like, layout of the house. I think that's, like, the one thing is, like, you can't change. So, yeah, it's not that bad,
Right.
Just a couple ugly paintings you got to look at.
Yeah. I wonder if that would feel like you're at a, like you're not really at your house, but you're at I don't know, like somebody else's house, obviously. Like Gene Wilder's house. They don't say it's Elon Musk's house, right? They say Gene Wilder's house every time. So
I guess, man, Elon Musk. I get he's doing big things, but can you just, like, buy yourself a personality with some of that money you sold? You're like an alien person. Very uncomfortable.
That's why he's terraforming Mars, man.
Well, it's like Mark Zuckerberg, right? Like, he's a fucking robot, basically, essentially. Actually, possibly.
Oh, he's terrifying. He's possibly a lizard person.
Yeah, he's a lizard person, not a robot.
Elon's
the robot. Zuckerberg's the fucking reptile.
I'm gonna drink water.
Drink water.
That's him. That's fucking.
That's weird.
Zuckerberg being all weird and shit.
He's
Jesus Christ.
Like, imagine a dinner party with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg at your house.
Yeah, dude. I'd be like,
hold on,
get the fuck out, dude. I know you guys are cool, but, like,
I feel like
let's just
you were gonna get
fabricate, like, the
murdered.
most
They're
awkward fucking thing. So, like, let's see. We got Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. Who else can we add to this super awkward dinner party?
Super awkward. Oh, fucking. Jeff Bezos. I don't know.
Jeff Bezos.
I was gonna say
Have you
Mitch
heard his
McConnell.
He looks around. If you ever watch Jeff Bezos, no offense, Jed, I know you fucking suck the guy's teeth, but fucking
A lot of people do.
He pays my bills. Okay.
Anyways, like if you watch his interviews or like just him fucking laughing or talking about anything, his laugh is very forced and it's very like he looks around for approval when he laughs. It's cringy. It's cringy as fuck because he'll be like. It's like, whoa, dude. Fucking, like, we get it. Like, okay. It's just too much.
Might just be, like,
cringy.
I guess when you're that big of a boss, you're like, I can tell the worst jokes. I can be any personality. And people have just been encouraging him for years. You know, they've just been like, oh, you go, boss.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he can do any wrong at that point.
What is it? Like, he has a whole bunch of yes, sir, yes, man type guys around him. So he could literally be like, you know, I don't know, dating a 16-year-old, nobody's gonna come at him, right? Well,
as long as he's in California.
If you were,
yeah,
it's got a point there.
Obviously not, because we're getting all these people exposed for dating 16-year-olds. So, pedophiles, and nobody's came after them for years. You know, what was Buddy's name? That was the director guy, movie maker.
Weinstein.
Oh, Weinstein.
Yeah, Weinstein. Yeah, it's like nobody knew that guy. They knew.
Everyone knew.
Yeah, they knew.
Hollywood is a super fucking creepy, which is why I think my buddy Jed Barnes wants to go there and be an actor. I think he's just looking for his hideout, looking for the spot that will take him and let him do what he needs to do to just be himself.
No, honestly, dude, it's a bigger mission. It's a bigger mission. I gotta infiltrate, and then disseminate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
I mean, if you're an old bastard like Weinstein, you're an old man. He's been working since before women were allowed to work, period. The only job that they really had was like, hey, I'm going to be in the movie industry. And if you're a fucking, wise guy, hey, you're manipulating these women and shit. And even if you're in an office, they treat women like, and I'm really just talking about, not so much like this time, but
you're talking about
the time that guy's from. Yeah,
you're talking
the time
about
this guy's from.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, just
normal.
like some business guy comes in his office and he's like, "Hey, shut the door." He's like, "You see the tuchus on that one? Did you check out Betty's ankles? They're
Jesus Christ.
From a different time, probably even worse then, right?
She did good. Make sure to give her a reaffirming slap on the tuchus.
Right. That just pay off.
Shit, exactly.
Yeah.
Good game, sport.
Well, I mean, that's still going, but
At least it's not rampant. Like, and we're calling people out nowadays, and we're talking about like these issues out in the public, and we're trying to address a lot of these things. Like, you don't want your daughter or your wife or anybody going through that, right? So you're trying as hard as you can to
like background noise.
Yeah, I got some cats. They're getting some food. They're hungry, I guess. Speaking of wives, mine is taking care of that and doing all that fun stuff. But yeah, like we're really, I guess, progressing. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but we're moving forward in how we're taking care of these issues, right? Like, I feel like it's not as big of a issue even as of the 90s, whenever it came to like workplace sexual harassment.
I feel like it's less of an issue, but it's the first time that it's ever been really addressed. So it's really making a big deal. You know what I mean? Nobody was talking about this 40 years ago, even though it was happening probably triple the amount that it happens now. But nobody talked about it for 40 years.
Exactly. Like, we're in the age of information. So all the information, it's hard to, like, now that we have Facebook, the internet, all these social media platforms, you can disperse all of this information, and it's hard to bottleneck that shit. It's hard to keep that contained. It's hard to, let the cat's out of the bag on a lot of shit, a lot of different topics. That's why I think we're finding out a lot of shit now that's been going on for a long time. and a lot of people are awakening, and they're saying, "All right, this is enough of this shit." Like,
I feel like it's making a lot of people crazy, man. You know?
well, it's making people sound crazy too, right? Like
Right.
people they'll be like, "Oh, fucking FEMA camps, man! They're gonna put us in FEMA camps, and they made these coffins." It's like people were calling those people conspiracy theorists, like during Obama's time, right? But then like, people are calling you a quack. Oh yeah, whatever. But then look at like what New York just fucking did.
You're sounding like a quack. They're gonna put us in FEMA camps. Well, you're not really sounding like a quack anymore, right?
Exactly.
With this new bill.
So yeah,
New York addressing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So New York. Jesus, I'm gonna pull it up the article from. I'm gonna actually pull it up from the .gov website to show you guys what it's actually proposing. It's on the table to be voted on. It's a New York Assembly Bill A 416, and basically what it does is it allows the governor or any other like political official the power to, based off their opinion, put people, basically detain people and take them into these camps if they feel that they have contracted a, you know what, I'll read it. If they've contracted a contagion, like it could even be a cold, right? Like if you got the sniffles one day, they'll be like, oh, and it's not just a person, it's a group of people. Yeah, it's a group of people. So it's like, like I said, these people back in like 2008, before then actually, like they were saying when they were building these FEMA camps, and they were saying, yeah, this is the government's gonna fucking take us in like the Holocaust. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, fucking, do you listen to this fucking guy? What a quack! This guy's a fucking conspiracy theorist.
Man. We had the war on drugs, and now we got the war on disease.
Yeah, man.
Lock more people away.
It's the easiest one too.
Wait.
It's the easiest one because you promote fear.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a war on disease or is it a war on freedom?
Well, way to state the obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, well, is it give me life or is it give me security or liberty? And like, anyways. Well, so here I want to read just.
And it's so vague, that's like, it seems like such a risky thing to even try to proposition, because it doesn't even based on the opinion of whose opinion, first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's no like guidelines for them to go off of. If this person has this exact disease or this temperature and is sick for this long and lives
suspicion
A, B, and C.
They don't even have to be sick. They have to be like, all they have to be is like, I think that person might be sick.
Well,
that's enough.
Might have been sick. Might be sick. Yeah.
Well, let's read what it says, and then we'll get into discussion. So we're going to start out with section 1. I'm only going to read a couple sections, maybe even just 2. So, section 1, the public health law is amended by adding a new section 2120 to read as follows. 2120A, removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health. Other orders. Number 1, the provisions of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. So that could be a cold. That could be, one day you got the fever and your temp's a little high. Oh, he's got a high temp. Oh. So, fucking number 2. I think we're on section 2. Yeah, section 2. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease that, in opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality, the governor or his or her delegate, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and or detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order, identifying such persons either by name or by a reasonable specific description of the individuals or group by being detained. Group being detained. So I can do it by individual and by group, and they don't even have to have your
Hey.
fucking name. It can be a description. What?
Yeah. Isn't there a section that describes what the camps would be like?
I haven't got that far, dude. I've been reading this, but I haven't got that far. If you can find it, Jed,
No.
I will put that in here too.
Yeah, let's continue to talk about it. I'm gonna see if I can find
Is
that.
that so? Is that the whole state of New York?
New York, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
Really?
you've seen a lot of stuff in major cities.
Right,
in
you
the past
think,
things.
yeah,
That's why.
exactly. So,
It's kind of funny, man. New York has been in the news a lot lately.
well,
Specifically New
they're
York
like the
City.
worst.
They
Yeah.
handled everything the worst, is what they say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, whenever you're putting sick people in nursing homes, I mean, you've obviously messed up.
You
Well,
got proof
right?
for that.
I mean,
too.
as far
But-
as like only facts, the facts say that the decisions that they made led to more elderly people dying of COVID and shit than would have without any intervention. Really, I mean, they could have done nothing and done a better job.
Jesus.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, reading further. Such person or group of persons shall be detained in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor or his or her delegee, and complying
That's the
with
one.
subdivision 5 of this section. So, number 3.
So any
it
facility
gets-
that they deem appropriate, which means
Exactly.
they can deem a fucking dark basement appropriate. They could deem a fucking oven appropriate if they wanted to. And it's like, what the fuck? You're gonna give this much power to these people?
I
Who's
feel like-
in control of that?
The governor,
Yeah.
So,
bro,
and then it
and
says
any of his
section
delegates.
3 real quick. I just want to read section 3. The rest is just too scary to keep reading, dude. Section 3 says a person or group removed or detained by order of the governor or his or her delegee pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section shall be detained for such period and in such manner as the department may direct in accordance with this section. So, you've heard a little bit about that. Now, I want to put a scenario on the table. So let's say that, you've come in contact with someone, right? Like you don't have COVID, but like somehow someone's ratted or something, like, oh, you've come in contact. So then they come to your door and they say, well, sir, we think that you may have been in contact with a contagious person that has a whatever contagion, right? Like the flu or anything. So we need you to come with us. All right. So just get in our van and we'll take you there. It's like, okay. And then people are going to comply, right? Because people are fucking sheep. So they get in there and they're like, okay, how long am I here for? Well, it's going to be doctor's discretion, but it's usually a week and a half. Okay. I mean, let me make some calls, right? They get there, right? More sick people come in. Actual sick people, right? Because you're just a maybe. You don't even have it, right? Well, let's say a couple days goes by and then you start to develop this sickness, right? Because there's sick people coming in here and like this Bay Area just so happened to have a contagious person, right? So now you're sick. Now you're sick for real. Well, since you're sick for real now, we're going to have to keep you for 2 weeks because you actually have it. Oh, okay. All right. 2 weeks goes by. You're feeling better. You say, hey, I'm good to go. I waited my 2 weeks. It's like, actually, a couple nights ago, we just had a breakout. So everyone in here needs to stay a little longer. And then it's just going to fucking keep going. Just like the lockdowns, man. Because look at what happened with the lockdowns. We locked it down. We did everything they asked us to do. And look, we're still in it. Has the cases gone down? No. We already knew this was going to happen. We're still locked down. But what's going to happen is it's going to be in an actual facility. We talk about the Uyghurs, and what they went through, and no one does a fucking thing. So do you think when we cry out for help, us Americans, to another country, they're going to help us? No, they're going to sit there and they're going to laugh their asses off because we, the Western civilization, gave up our rights. This is happening in 2021. I told people, I said, 2021 is going to bring a train of shit. You thought 2020 was crazy. That was only the start of the show.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, suspicion, and I think especially like if we talk about like New York City, upstate New York. They're two different places. What if there's this very red area or blue area of New York, and they're really not compliant with what the governor's laying down, right? All of a sudden, everybody's super suspicious of having some disease, right? We take New York City, for example. There's large populations of Orthodox Jews that don't get vaccines. They don't do blood they do very little in the way of medicine, right? They're a group of people that would be suspicious, right? All of a sudden, they're loading a whole bunch of Orthodox Jews up. I hope Israel is ready to say
I think
something.
we've seen this one before, guys. I think we've seen this one before where they load people up and they take them to a place, and it was told by them that it's for their own good. I think we've seen this one before. I just can't remember where.
I have to think that like if they did this, they'd probably take any possessions you brought with you in case they were contaminated. There's gonna be a lot of people, so like like bunk houses and stuff like that, and with this kind of disease, people are gonna die, and they have to get rid of those bodies somehow.
Right.
They wouldn't want this disease to contaminate groundwater, so they can't bury them. They'll have to incinerate the bodies or something.
Yeah, they'll have to have some ovens, right, Jed? They'll have to have some ovens. And you're going to want some ventilation in this place, too. So you're going to want to put some gas pipes in
for ventilation. And maybe like decontamination chamber, so you can be decontaminated. Yeah, man. I don't know.
Pieces are fitting, boys. Pieces
are
fitting.
This is what I point to when people don't know history and they say, "Well, fuck it, dude." It's like
this is what you're asking for, New York. This is what you're asking for.
This is I've seen this before.
Like we started a lot of with relief. The first thing was okay, we need relief from financially impacting, and now we're on the downward descent of like, here's your money, you're getting less of it. Unemployment's gonna they're gonna stop giving that little extra to people, and now you're gonna have a camp that you have to go to. It's almost veering away of like, here, let's give you something to be independent, and now let's move towards just being completely dependent, because you're not allowed to have a job or make money.
Right.
So
there won't
be anything. At the same time, they're also trying to take our guns away. Remember that? The whole $2,000 tax on any firearm you have.
That's the big thing, right? That was the biggest campaign promise, right? He said, "Hey man, I'm coming after your guns."
Coming after your guns, and he's gonna get them.
I feel like there has to have been some point in history where the government tried to take away people's guns and then put people in camps. I just can't think of it.
I wish we could look back on those points in history, because I think there's something, right? There has to be.
I think.
But somebody would have stopped it, right?
Yeah.
I think they would have saw the trend and been like, "This isn't."
It would have been us, right? It would have been the United States to stop that shit, because we're about the free. We're not for oppressing people and taking away their rights.
Right,
we're for the land of the free, home of the brave.
But we're the most oppressed country in the world, and it's almost sad that we broadcast ourselves to the rest of the world like we're so oppressed and shit's so rough here. It's so bad. Because even their living conditions might actually be worse than here. They go, their own people in their country are saying how awful it is there, and we broadcast that to the entire world to say we're a bad place. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. No, I never quite understood that.
This is one of the best countries.
Well,
I mean, anymore, I don't know.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it that way.
We got to fight. I mean, we talked about in the New Year's thing, you got to have hope. But anymore, this shit, who the fuck sat down and didn't take World War II history and said, we'll put them in camps, and we're just going to fucking load them up in vehicles, and we're going to take them to these medical facilities, and we're just going to monitor them. And who the fuck thought to make this bill?
It's awfully funny when they talk about cutting education and stuff, and that's some of the first classes that we lost is world history, American history.
Exactly.
More
I wonder why they
specifically,
wanted-
we're teaching children a lot less about American history. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
sad when someone's opinion, somebody with just a strong opinion, comes and says, "I want to dictate what you're teaching."
Right.
You know, what was wrong with the old textbooks? Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well-
had a little bit too much truth in them, you know. And like that's another thing that like we should have talked about the other day when like you know, like we all grew up, we all went to the same high school, we all went to the same school district. How much money did the state owe us? Like
Oh,
$10
dude.
million?
They put it up
Like,
on the board
schools-
in Buda, right?
Yeah, there
A
was
lot
so
of
much
schools
money
were
that they
doing
owed us
that.
that they put
I
it up on the.
remember.
But like, think about it. Like, there's been a routine lack of funding for schools. So like, routinely, like schools are underfunded, which we can generally assume means that the students are undereducated. And as a population that's undereducated, obviously we're not going to progress. Like the other day, we were talking about like lack of big innovations. Well, we've had decades of students being undereducated. You know, you hear all the time about these students that like, everything was super easy for them in school. They never got like the stimulation they needed, so they got out of school, and then they're like,
Exactly.
they spun their fucking wheels for a while. Well, schools are underfunded. All the money's going to, get oil across the fucking sea we don't fucking need. We could be
Well, and it's
educating our
going to
populace
Gender studies in Pakistan.
Oh.
That's a big fucking deal
Yeah.
too, right?
yeah, because they actually give a shit about gender studies in Pakistan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the age of
I
enlightenment.
think
and we're
that's
showing
I
people-
hope that I hope if that money is going there, it's like helping, girls actually go to school or something, but I
Doubt it.
highly doubt it.
I'm
I
sure
wouldn't
80% is
care
going
for
to
that.
administrative costs.
Yeah, something like that. Of course. Jesus.
Yeah,
And
it's
some
Have you guys-
politician's brother's gonna own the company that helps with it, right?
Well,
Yeah,
part
of
of me
course,
thinks.
Have you
Absolutely.
guys seen that about tuition costs rising in the last 20 years, administration fees, and the amount of like teachers make not really climbing, and the people who are actually doing the work, their wages haven't climbed at all.
Yeah.
They're struggling, and then the administration is taking
Mhm.
literally all that huge tuition that everyone's paying. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. We'll talk about Taiwan for a second. In 2020, it was a rough year for Taiwan in the fight of defending its land against invasion from China. I've got some numbers here. So, basically in 2020, and this has been going on, and it's still going on into 2021. The Taiwan military it's been drained out of its resources and money defending itself against an invasion of China. I want to explain to you how that happened. So basically, China is doing something that's called gray zone warfare. Okay. So in gray zone warfare, they don't shoot bullets. There's no bombs dropped. There's no guns aimed at anybody. What they do is China will assemble some jets and also some naval ships, and they will basically do a drive-by without shooting of Taiwan. They'll just fly over their airspace, into their airspace, and then so every time that happens, Taiwan
Big
has to
cap.
scramble. Yeah, Taiwan has to scramble jets and go, defend itself.
Mhm.
Well, China has all the resources to keep doing this for forever. And they could just keep doing it until Taiwan breaks. Not even just resources and money, like mentally, right? Like you're gonna get fatigued. Just oh my god, fucking fly my fucking jet at fucking 700 miles an hour and fucking chase this fucking Chinese aircraft and then just do it again, just to like, and then you land and then you get another call. Hey, there's another one. It's like it's just staggering. So they're wearing them out. This is something called gray zone warfare, and it's been going on. And they spent in 2020 just scrambling jets. They had to do that 2,972 times,
Jesus.
and then that cost them $903 million to do that.
Yeah.
Jesus
So-
Christ.
That's that's more than 3 times a day.
So they don't receive some kind of like military relief from the United States for that. We don't just.
I don't know. You'd think. I mean, like
I would expect it. That's kind of what we do, right? That's
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
our,
but
sure
we can't
like,
act
we do.
against China. You know, we
No,
can't support
no, but we can
Taiwan.
provide
but
Taiwan
we
with in
recognize
Taiwan. We've
Taiwan
been
as a
helping.
country. We're
We've been helping them out. We've been helping them out. It's just,
We're
you know,
selling them nicer and nicer equipment.
that's just what they're doing. So, I just, you know, a little bit of worry for Mark, at least in that regard, just because you're over
Yeah.
there, like in a sense, right?
yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be able. Well, let's see with this administration. I just don't think.
Kind of makes a fellow wonder what actual recourse we have against China. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the big picture,
Right.
how much do we pretend like, yeah, we're still the nation's, big brother. We're the military people, and if there's a problem, we're always gonna step in, no matter who it is, etc. But I would say China has a pretty booming industrial, uh, in America, not even in China. In
Yeah,
America,
they're gonna be
industrially they're booming here. I mean, we have so much money tied to them. It's sort of like it'll
Mm-hmm.
get to the point where we can't hurt them. It's gonna hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Oh well, I think we're gonna see a lot of this
oh,
gray zone warfare.
let's
I
just
get what you're talking
edit
about,
out
Lane.
whatever I just said because that sounded horrible. That was the
No,
worst
that's
thing I
fine.
ever said.
I get what you're talking about because we we also have to look at how many countries. I mean, America recently stopped giving money to China for aid. So think about that. That's ridiculous, right? They've been at our throats for years, on our asses for years, and we recently stopped giving them aid. They have basically kidnapped Canadian citizens, and Canada is still giving them aid, like money that is going, directly to, the Communist Party, funding probably lavish parties, funding their military, doing
funding
all those
New
things.
Year's Eve parades and good
Yeah,
times. And,
elephant marches and things like that. Like it's ridiculous, and we still, like China. We're giving them money basically to what, to make plans to take us over, to you know cut our throats in our sleep. Honestly, they
Oh,
don't
do it
they
right
don't
in
want
front of your
peace.
faces, man.
They don't
yeah,
they
Do it
don't
right in
it's
front
want
of your
they
faces.
don't want anything but total domination of everybody else. They want to be the next superpower that dominates everything. They want to surveillance everybody. There's, that's why they're setting up all this stuff. They're trying to do
Well,
the Belt and Road
they
Initiative so
are the
they can
New
once they're
World
China and they
Order's
can
wet dream.
cut off resources to anybody
yeah.
else. Yeah, ridiculous, ridiculous.
If being the number one superpower in the world is a game of basketball, China is shooting threes for sure. They
Yeah,
are.
and like
They're
Yeah,
another
shooting
big thing
threes.
about
All right, everybody, it's that time again. I gotta go. First day back at work with the new year, and I just want you guys to make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell, and you're gonna get notified every time we upload a video talking about the new recent events, talking about our greatest reactions and opinions going on. And you know what? Stay classy, everybody. All right, peace.
they are.
bye, Mark. Yeah, so like technology wise, like as far as like a military technology, like, we're up there. We're like top belt, as far as technology goes. Like our planes, our aircraft carriers, our battleships, all that stuff's like top notch, right? Nobody got us beat on that shit. The problem with China is the sheer numbers, okay? Like 1 billion people in one country. And then, they have a huge military to begin with. Like just like a standing army size is like ridiculous big. And they haven't even done a draft yet. So like if China did a draft and say
Well, they have
30%, say
a
like
required
30%,
military service there.
yeah, exactly. And then say like, 30% through a draft of like people that are like, aged out of it or, just like, didn't originally qualify for the military service, but now they,
Die out of it.
have to relax. Yeah, that too. But like now, hey, China's gonna, draft everybody they can. Don't care how much money you got. We don't care how much, your family's in politics. We don't care, if you got a gimp leg, you join in the military. 30%, say 30% That's 300 million people. That's like the entire population of the United States.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, man, we're so advanced as far as technology goes. They would just drop.
Yeah, they've already said they're not gonna go ground troop. They're gonna go aerial.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's why I feel like we have less. There hasn't been a major world war with multiple countries in conflict and so on, just due to like assured mutual destruction. I mean, there's always the point where like it's going there. Somebody put
Well,
the
that's Aaron's argument, right? He was on the podcast, Aaron Bollinger, or
Yeah.
Jed's friend. He said that nukes keep us safe because it's assured destruction, right? Mutually assured
Right.
destruction.
Yeah.
So there's an argument to be made.
Kind of keeps us safe.
Right.
Because
Like
it's
any
assured
country,
the United States will bomb you if you try to invade another country.
right? So like any country with nukes can attack any country without nukes, and any country without nukes can attack any other country without nukes. But if you're a country without nukes, you can't attack anybody with nukes.
But
because,
if you're a country without nukes and you're friends with Russia or China or something, then you're pretty much good too.
Then you got some balls. Yeah. Also, quick thing about Aaron Bollinger. His mom's going through a rough time right now, so like everybody just like keep him in your thoughts. Send some prayers his ways. Just let's all hope that his family gets back together real soon. His mom pulls out of this and starts feeling better soon.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
So back to China a little bit.
China.
The thing about China is they're kind of clever the way that they've been doing knockoffs. So they've got really good knockoffs, and what that does is it takes away from the actual brand, and then it actually promotes the knockoff brand, right? And China makes money off of it because, well, the China runs every single, like, if you have a small company in China, well, guess what? It's owned by China. It's not yours, right? You don't have a small business. It's China's. So basically, China's been making money off of that, and we've been harping on them, like, hey, quit doing knockoffs, like, quit making, copies and shit, and selling them as your own. There's actually there's a whole list of companies that the knockoffs surpassed the actual revenue that the company made. So the knockoff actually beat the actual company. Like a company, let's just say like Puma or Guess or some shit. Like the knockoffs profited more than the actual company because China was just making money off them. They are so clever about the way they're doing things, and the way that they can get away with shit because they are centralized. Everything is and just for an example, like here, you go to work at Area 51, like you're very compartmentalized, right? Like you only know one thing, and that's why like some people are like, you've heard stories of like people struggling to figure out the whole equation because they can only work on one thing, and then they can only talk to one person about this and that, and then that person gets to talk to. So it's like, but for China, they know the whole thing because it's the open communication, and that is the advantage they have, is that they can communicate and sync things together as a whole and not just as a compartment. So I think that's one thing that they've got us beat at, is the ability to communicate.
Yeah. Speaking of Area 51, when are we gonna have our insider on, huh?
I don't think he's gonna. He's kind of being a real dick ass about it.
Well, I mean, he probably signed a bunch of contracts and shit about like I can't talk about it, and doesn't want the ghost. Maybe his memoir.
Yeah, I can try on his deathbed, but that's kind of fucked up. But anyways, that would be.
Before you go, you gotta tell me the secrets.
Well, it's like, dude, there's so much out there already about Area 51 that the cat's out of the bag. Like, something's going on over there. It's already like something obviously is funky. There's no hiding too much of that.
I don't know. Maybe something was happening there like 30 years ago. I think by now if everyone knows something's happening there and you're still chugging along, like, man, maybe you should find a new place to do that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as it got out that like Area 51 was being used for like secret military research, like they're probably like, well, let's start building a new base somewhere harder to find than the middle of the fucking desert.
Well, I've got some questions, because they let Bob Lazar live, for
They
so
still
long.
let him live. Yeah.
And it's like he got on Joe Rogan and talked about it. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Bob Lazar is a CIA operative.
well, I'm not
He
ruling
was
that out.
planted in front of us to
No,
give us false
but
information.
do you ever think, like maybe he was just allowed to live and he spreads all this and they say it because now they believe it's at Area 51 when really that was a long time ago and we've moved on to bigger
Or
things.
that's not even what Area 51 is. Maybe it is like this. Maybe it is just a actual test center for future military aircrafts. You know what I mean? But we need to keep that locked down so tight because of people like China that there is higher max security on that installation, and maybe that's really all it is. And they kind of like to, yeah, and maybe we have aircraft that we are working on that is absolutely, they look like UFOs, right? Anti-gravity propulsion system, that could well be the case. I know a lot of people
Maybe.
like to fantasize about space and like just the thought of aliens coming down, meeting, and then them giving us technology or allowing us to have a little bit or gaining it some way.
Whatever happened to the tinfoil hat?
What's
Never
here?
far from reach, man. Never far from reach on this podcast.
I think you
Yeah.
really look like it now because your sweater is also silver. So,
Yeah, you just look like the Tin Man, all right? You need to paint your face silver, and you got your spot in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm protected from all manner of brainwave.
now you look like
You look like a
Paranoid
metal
Penny from South Park.
dildo. Just
Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
shit. Anyways, so yeah, it is the new year. And
New year, man.
isn't
New
that
year, new
crazy
me.
going on, right? We had a
Hashtag New
little
Year,
thing.
new me.
Oahu. What was it, like the west side of Oahu? You could like, I don't know. I'm gonna put it in the video here, but the west side of Oahu, like they had a New Year's banger. Like there's just fireworks just to the max. Like you could probably see it all the way in China, right? Maybe that was their purpose. Was just like, fuck you, we're still fucking Americans. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then Oahu also on December 30th, that blue UFO. Have you seen it?
No.
The blue UFO, like it was like seen by a bunch of people. It was caught on video. Yeah, but what do you guys think aliens are for real?
Bob Lazar.
What was the question?
Exactly what I said.
Bob Lazar is an alien.
I don't know. I'm just surprised that he's alive, if anything.
Oh, yeah, you're still talking about Bob Lazar.
Apparently, they're less concerned with that than they are pedophilia because they got Epstein, but they didn't get Bob Lazar, and he's been talking about this like for years.
Right. Yeah, they could get him so easy. It's like.
There you go.
Yeah, cover that light. There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying my best here.
Also, we didn't get the bot in here, Jed.
I was a little unprepared, guys.
Okay.
Went to 3%, and I had to do some.
We can start now though with the bot, I guess, and then this will just be edited. I've got a lot to edit already.
With the what?
The bot.
Bot.
Guys, I actually am worried about like this authoritarian shit, dude. Like that shit creeped me the fuck out today when I read that. Like It shook me to my core, dude. Like the fact that they can, like, the Holocaust happened, right? So it's like this shit is not too fathomable. It's not unfathomable. Like this shit could happen, dude. And we need to wake the fuck up. What was it we said yesterday?
What was it we said yesterday? If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
well,
it's probably a fucking duck. Like, look at the textbooks, look at the history books, man. Like, this is what happened. Maybe, there was a little bit more going on, obviously, because the Nazi party kind of just like rose to power. But basically, a political party rose to power, and then they started just, doing their own fucking thing. Anybody that disagreed with them got put in a camp.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like, people, why don't people care about their freedom anymore? What happened to the land of liberty?
I don't really think it's going to be a problem for like another year or 2 years, if it is. They slowly introduce things.
Exactly. They slowly do it until people accept it. And the way that they've done it now is this virus. It's the perfect thing. It's an invisible enemy that we're always fighting. Like they just came out with the COVID 2.0, right? So it's like they can just make a COVID 2.2, 2. Like that 3.0. Like they can just keep making these. Like, oh, a new mutant strain. Like this shit is not gonna end now. They know what they can do to us. They literally have tried it out. We've obeyed, but we gotta draw the line at some point. You know what I mean? We gotta tell them, hey, stop. This is where we draw the line. You're not gonna fucking put us in fucking camps. You got fucked up.
They've developed like I think a movement with this social media.
That's the fucking issue, dude. The social media thing, everyone's like, just wear your mask, do your thing. It's like, well, we've been doing that for a year. Where has it gotten us? You guys are that stupid. It's gotten us nowhere. The cases have risen. Like, at what point do you say, okay, this isn't working, let's switch it up. Maybe we'll try no masks. Like, try something different, dude. Don't go into this authoritarian lockdown that's crippling the economy and
question everything.
I mean,
except nothing.
Oh, give me a second. Since Logan's back, or he's doing his thing. Wait till he's back. So I was in the line the other day at Walmart, and this line was huge, man. Because 6 feet away, you gotta stay. I was at so picture the checkouts, right? They're at like the front of the rectangle. Let's just say the building was a rectangle. It was. So I was on the exact opposite side in line of that rectangle, like just going around. And it got me thinking, like, they're centralizing us to these big box stores like Walmart and Target and shit like that. Like, so it's like, why wouldn't they want to just have us dispersed out and not spread so much at small businesses and other restaurants that other than like McDonald's or like going to Dairy Queen, you gotta wait in line and shit. Like, it's like, it doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you?
And then they're taking these stores that used to be 24/7, like Walmart and like all these other fucking places, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna reduce your hours. It's like, oh, so now everybody that would come in the middle of the night has to come at the same time everybody else comes during the day, so there's more people there at any given time than there used to be. And then they're saying, oh, you need to have 30 days of supplies, you need to have all this toilet paper and other crap, so people are going to the store more, and it's like, wow, you're
profiting
We're letting them do this.
Exactly. Like, they are profiting so much off of this shit. It blows my mind, dude, because while big box stores are getting rich, it's the perfect storm, like I said, COVID. And the only thing that's going to stop this, I don't even know if it's reversible, man. You know what I mean? Shit's gone too far for too long. Yep. It's been a year. And, that's another reason why people were like, oh, 2020, it's over with. They think that 2021, the economy is going to open back up. And it's like, yo, you do not understand. They got you by the balls, dude. And they're not going to let go. Once the government has control over your life in some way, form, shape, they're going to keep it. I'm sorry to say it. They're going to keep it. Now they're testing the waters, and they know what they can do to us. So.
Yeah, Logan, man. Like, how old is your daughter, bro?
She's 2 right now, man. She'll be 3 in May.
All right, and like, you got another one on the way?
Yeah, it should be about 3.5 whenever my second one's born.
But you don't know the gender of that one yet, do you?
Huh?
You don't know the gender of the second one yet, though, yeah?
No, waiting on that yet. I mean, I just found out it was like 2 days, a day before Christmas, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Pretty special.
Yeah, it was. I spent the Christmas with my family, and she was so excited. I was excited, man, and it felt special to me, at least, man. This is something that we've been trying to have a second one because I wanted my daughter to grow up close with her sibling, and close in age.
Yeah.
So it was really said last year plus of trying, and disappointment,
I'm sure that was hard work, dude.
No, it's just when that time comes every month and then you're disappointed.
Yeah.
And you keep thinking like, oh, it's not gonna happen, and then when it finally happened, I was like, no way. Like, well, let me take a second, slow down. Is this real? Let me schedule this.
This is real.
Let's go get some more tests. I just wanted to be so
Right.
sure.
Right.
It's
like hold off the the jubilation until we're like 100% confirmed. Well, hey man, I hope there's like no complications. I hope everything's cakewalk, easy as pie. I hope you get a guy because, hey, let's face it, as
Mix
a father,
it up,
sons are better, man.
I mean, it'll be fun, dude. It'll be fun raising a little you, right?
It would. I was 1 second.
He was 1 second.
You were just 1 second, Logan, huh? That's
just 1 second, man. You missed her 1 second.
So
you heard it first. The Gentleman's Bureau. Logan was just 1 second to do it. That's all he needed.
There we go. Was it good for you?
He's there to do a job. He's not there for pleasure. You know what I mean? He's trying to just. It's different when you're
this baby.
I was just saying, like, I think the first time, I was excited and I was like, oh, I hope I have a boy, this and that. I'm actually really glad I had a girl, honestly. At first, man, girls are precious, and it, like I said, it increased my capacity for love, like tenfold.
Yeah.
I don't know if it hears me.
I can see that, man, for sure, because it's different. I hear it's different because like the mom usually, like, the son and the mom have like this special bond, but then dad, like daddy's girl, shit
it's
like
always
that.
Daddy's
Like you always
little girl,
hear that.
man.
Yeah, like you always hear that shit. That's your little girl, man.
That's my baby.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't know personally, but I can only imagine.
Oh, I wanted
to be a man. Lane, you're married, dude. Why aren't you having kids yet?
Well, I'm trying to prepare for total apocalypse. So at the moment, that's not on my agenda. But
you're gonna need more people to man the fort, dude. You gotta get those numbers up.
Yeah, right. Maybe
Start
I'll just
putting out some Amish numbers. Make a little fort.
Yeah. Have you seen the Amish, like when they put together a barn and shit? They all pick it up. Like they all go like 3, 2, 1, and they all like are just surrounded it, and they just lift it up, and it's nothing. It weighs nothing because they all just like teamwork. It's like crazy.
Oh man, I've seen. They were not. They were something else. It was a like Christian, whatever, traditional Christian. I think they were like apostolic or something like that. So
Mennonites.
Maybe Mennonite, but I seen them working, and it was like a little. This boy couldn't have been any older than like 9 years old. It was fucking adorable. So he's got his little jeans on, and he has one of those tool belts, like full tool belt hammers, and he's just working right alongside these grown men. They're watching out for him and shit. It was kind of cool.
Damn, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, it's a trip to see this little 8-year-old on a roof though, like hitting nails and
Right.
They have them out there from the time they're really young. Yeah.
It's good for him, He's learning how to, fit in with the crew, be a man, learn their lingo. He's watching them.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that lifestyle, even if you don't have any religious beliefs or anything. That like closeness of family and everybody having the same goals,
working together.
Yeah.
Right, because like anymore, it's just you don't know. Like, dad comes home from work and you guys just watch sports together, do whatever you guys are into. Maybe you guys have a hobby, you're working on a car together, maybe you work together in some form, but like working with your dad, him teaching you these crucial like steps during, your assembly or whatever you're doing with him. Like, I think that's important because you're not only are you like learning a trade or learning, how to do something, you're learning how to learn in a way. You're figuring out at a young age how you need to learn and what makes you what gets you to learn.
Yeah. I think that's like something real formative for young men, especially if you don't have like a father or a father figure, somebody who like took you under wing and you start working with as a young man. Uh, that's something to be said about that, man. You learn a lot of lessons right there, and that, and I had worked with my dad all the time. Like something needed to be done. He always brought one of us boys with, and we were gonna learn something.
Right.
And I can remember like many nights, coming into the drive at, way after dark. We've been working all day. He's been busting his ass, and give you appreciation for what, first of all, your father, mother, etc., whoever does for you, and an understanding of what your role is going to be as a man. You're coming of age.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. Like since the time I was like 7 or 8, I was out there with my dad, putting gutters on people's houses, doing downspouts and stuff. Like I learned a lot. Like I still I haven't like really been in that culture for like 6-7 years now. While I've been up in Wisconsin, doing my own thing. But like if I go home, in a week and he's like, hey, we got to go put these 75 footers on this Morton building, I'd be like, okay, man, let's go. And the whole day I'll be sitting there, setting up the gutter truck, getting there, the next step ready for him. It's just 'cause, like it's in my blood now. Like it doesn't matter how long it's been. It's in my bones. I know how to level a gutter. I know how to set the stands up so that it's gonna hold it right. It's like I know all these like little details, and then
Yeah.
it was funny as shit.
For
like
me,
me and my
I think
friends,
that's- Sorry.
we like. Yeah, me and my friends will be like walking around town, like going to Dairy Queen a few blocks away or some shit, and I'll see somebody's like gutter hanging off and be like, ooh, that's not good, or like I'll see some it'll be like raining and I'll see like water coming down the middle of the gutter. I was like, ooh, somebody didn't level that shit right, or like, oh, that's why you go seamless. Like I'll be like, I'm such a fucking nerd, just because my dad. Like I know too much about gutters now. Like I go to my buddy's house for the first time, and he's on this little hill. I was like, oh shit, man, this is nice, man. You got good water dispersion. He was like, yeah, man, when I first got here, the gutters were all messed up. And I was like, yeah, man, gutters are really important. And I'm like, I'm such a fucking nerd.
Yeah. I think
like nobody else cares about gutters.
No, it's cool, man. And I think it was probably the first thing when I was young that helped me have confidence in myself. I wasn't like super successful in school or anything like that, but learning something when you're young like that helps you build confidence in yourself, and believe that you could do something more. That's all.
And when you see those gutters, it like helps build, like in Jed's example, like when he sees those gutters, it reminds him of his own confidence, of him being able to, like, if someone, I could fix that, you know what I mean? Just that's
Right.
like a reminder to,
Yeah, or like
so that's
one of my
good, too.
friends happens on a house is like, man, my gutter got ripped off in the storm. It's fine. I just got to put it back on. I was like, hey, man, I'll help you out. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Like I have always had that in my back pocket. And like I have some female friends up here, and they'll be like, can you change my oil? Can you put my brake pads on? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I can do that. I've learned that.
Right.
It gives you like a sense of value. Like you feel like you're worth more because you can do things, because you know how to do things. Knowledge is like power. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get some Joe Small off the street doesn't know how to tie his own shoes. You're like, well, as a, in the grand scheme of society, you're a drag. You're not helping anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you get this
kinda
guy,
have to look at,
but then you get
where did
this,
he come
drop
from?
out, right? Yeah.
Where, like, was he raised by a single mother?
Right.
Yep. That's why I've always tried to, like, at work, especially with like young people, you get like 18, 19-year-old kids in there that don't have a lot of experience doing what you're doing anything, turning wrench, or just haven't got that like level of confidence yet because they just haven't had opportunity. And a lot of times you get older cats that they want to like haze a new dude and be like, oh, he ain't worth a shit. You might have people like, oh, he's not worth nothing. But I've always tried to make that like my role or my place when I meet someone, to give them that opportunity and try and teach them something. And it's fulfilling to watch somebody go from not knowing what they're doing at all and having no confidence in themselves to like being able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody did it for me. You know what I mean? So I always try to pay that forward.
Pay it forward, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah, I always like teaching people shit. If I know something, because it's just neat to know. Like, to
Oh,
teach somebody else what you
You know,
know.
there's always so many people that are like, oh, you know, they think they're better than somebody because they know this or that, and they don't think someone's knowledgeable or teachable, and they want to down on somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, never been that guy.
Yeah, the important thing to remember, like, you know, yeah, you might have something on somebody else just because you know how to do something they don't know how to do, but like, it's important to always remember, like, there's always going to be something that you don't know, and you know they might, you know, like, I know how to put gutters on, yeah, that makes me better than people that don't know how to put gutters on, but there's also people that know how to do like plumbing for a house. And that makes them, you know, above me. So like, you know, how does that factor out? Like gutters, plumbing, who's more powerful? It doesn't matter, you know. But like when we work together, you know, I know how to put gutters on. This guy knows how to do plumbing. That guy knows how to do drywall and framing. And you know, you get 5 guys and you can build a house. But one guy by himself is like shit. Even if he knows how to do everything, it's just too much work. That's why we're stronger together.
Yeah. Stronger together. Remember that when Uncle Sam's coming at you. No, I'm just kidding. But
nah, dude,
hey,
like it goes into the thing. Like they're trying to divide us, and we can't let them.
That's it too, man. The division of the country. It's like that's why there's
country
the republic
divided against itself cannot stand.
That's why you know, what is it? Jefferson didn't believe in parties, right? Or was it Washington? I don't know.
Dude, none of them
one
did.
Of them.
Like the entire
yeah, and then the fact that the Dems, you're fucking Dem. Like that's a spectrum of shit. You can't just. There's so many compartments within Democrats. There's so many compartments within Republicans. I mix both together. I mix the best of both, right? I take a little bit of the Democrat for, you know, societal, structural, and then I'll take a little bit of the Republican for industrial economy. Like, and I just like mix it together, and then you got the perfect formula, right? A combined,
right?
And that's how it's supposed to work. But with, you know, tensions and everything, it's just like whatever, man. But besides that, it's the new year, and I want to know what Logan's New Year's resolutions are, if he has any,
man.
or if he's just
what are
got
you
one.
hoping to get done this year?
Put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot. What do I want to get done this year? You know, I don't have a whole lot of time for anything else besides responsibilities. You know, is what I'm trying to do. Time to go get this money, get this new crib. I'm trying to get this baby's bedroom set up again. So convert this guest bedroom into a nursery. You know.
Yeah.
That might be a little work. Do a little painting. Stuff like that. You know, just buy this crib, get it all put together and stuff. And you know, right now I just got to be, I guess, not so much of a focus on me. You know, sometimes, you know, I guess my New Year's resolution really is just to take better care of my woman more than anything, man, because she's pregnant, and yeah, she had a rough time last time, man. You know.
Yeah.
So I got to really. It's not gonna be so 50-50 at home right now. It's gonna be, you know, 80-20 or whatever. You know, it's gotta be.
And 95-5. Yeah.
Yeah.
99-1.
Nice. Yeah, 99-1. Yeah, that's interesting. Those are good resolutions, man, for sure.
That's not much of a resolution. I just know what I'm doing this year, man.
You know what you're doing.
Man, like your resolution is to take care of your shit. Like that's fine, dude. You know.
Good resolution.
Just
So
still doing what we've been doing. You know.
You said
Surviving.
September the baby's due or something? Probably the month before September.
I don't have a due date yet, but you're looking at more about August.
August,
September, yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
I don't have a due date yet. I haven't been to
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, they got this.
Wake up! It's August 21st. It's tomorrow.
Now, what if they came out with for real? No, like, what if they came out with a technology that like boosted the prenatal
gestation
whatever
period,
right? And they're just oh, we can get it done, and if you take this, you can get it done in 3 weeks. You could have a baby.
People that have like there's stuff that there's stuff kind of like that where you know, as soon as you're pregnant and you get to the first trimester, they'll just do a procedure to extract that baby from your womb and then put it in an artificial womb, so you know the next 9 months you're not pregnant, but the baby's still, you know, going through his
Fuck
gestation
that,
period,
dude.
his artificial womb. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird,
no,
yeah,
wrong.
but
Not wrong.
That seems
It's
like
the
an
thing.
example to me where technology should just not.
Go there.
I think it would do more harm than good. You know, if you're blessed enough to be able to have get pregnant and carry a child, then that's a blessing that not everybody has. So you should appreciate that and use that
yeah,
time
but
to bond with your child, man, and feel that
but at the
connection
same
with your father and
time,
mother.
that there's certain like complications that exist for
Yeah,
for instance,
exactly. Yeah, that's why I say if
women
you're
with
able to.
it's like women with like negative blood type, right? Like after their first pregnancy, for some reason, like every pregnancy after the first one is just horrendously difficult. You know, like my sister had to get like a bunch of shots in her abdomen like every month, and like for those people who like still want to have kids, but they like just can't physically carry a baby for 9 months, that's an instance where that could be
I thought they already
utilized.
kind of had that stuff, right? Like making
Yeah,
babies in a.
test tube.
Yeah.
With test
I'm
tube
not saying
baby.
that. I'm saying
Yes.
that if you have the option,
Right, yeah.
try it. I understand there's like medical complications, right?
Mhm.
But that's a good thing too, though. Don't get me wrong. I guess I might have been. I drew a hard line there where I shouldn't have. Because man, if you think through any kind of medicine, you can bless more people with a family.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I.
But no, that was actually a interesting thing about that. Like when they're like anytime they talk about like space travel and stuff and like colonizing a new world, like that's one of the things they bring up. Like just sending a bunch of embryos and like artificial wombs and like a couple of like basic robots that we can control from the ground and just
Well,
like
those aren't people,
land.
man. Like you're
Right?
not talking
Yeah.
about
Like
people. You're talking about like AI or something, right? Is that what you're saying?
no. Like they would just send
I
like
got one
embryos,
wife
like
out, dude.
fertilized embryos with like a robot, and like they'd land on this planet, and like they'd put an embryo in a womb, and 9 months later the baby would come out, and this robot would like raise this person while they had other embryos in the womb, and once that first person's like 20 something, they also got like a bunch of kids running around, and that's how you colonize a place. Because like there's some places out there like it would take way too long for us to get there in like a human lifespan. It's like this is like the way around it,
Crazy.
Kind of crazy to think about, yeah.
I was talking to a coworker the other day actually.
Are you eating a fucking Twinkie right now?
I don't know. My wife gave it to me. I never had this thing.
There's a
It
kid.
looks like a red coconut Twinkie.
I think it is. I can taste coconut. I don't know. It's not bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you guys go to Mars? I was talking to a coworker the other day about that. He was like, "I'd go to Mars. I'll be on the first
I
flight
would.
to Mars. I'll die
He
there."
said that. He said that shit. He'd be the first one.
Yeah, he said, "I don't care. I'll die there if I have to. Like, I'll just live the rest of my life there."
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I don't
I
think
would
so.
go to Mars, sure, but like I cannot go to Mars. Like I don't think any of us can go to Mars.
Why,
So,
money?
nah, like Logan, have you ever smoked menthol cigarettes?
What would it do to you?
So, like apparently the menthol never totally leaves
Crystallizes
your
your
lungs.
lungs.
Like yeah, so like it never totally leaves your lungs, and when you go to 0G or like space, like it just fucks your whole system up. Like you die quickly because it's menthol in your lungs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard like what it hardens your lungs and crystallizes
Yeah.
them or something, and then probably it leaves them no room to expand whenever you get to that high altitude or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just
Yeah, so like
spitballing.
0G, dude, just wrecks them. So like, yeah, if you've smoked menthol, anything, like you cannot go to space. Yep, there you go. That's your no space ticket right there.
Here's your no space ticket. Light that fucker up.
And this one's mine.
It's wild. So like, what about? Never mind. I mean,
I mean, like, yeah, sure, there's probably gonna be a way around it in the future, but like right now, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. Like, we're all fucking blonde-haired, blue-eyed dudes. Like, we're just the Hitler Youth talking about how this concentration camp bullshit's coming to America.
Well, man.
Trust me, we will know. We have very much experience with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it, right? Just know your history, learn history, and because I don't want to say luckily, but fortunately, I don't even want to say fortunately, but I'm going to say it because, for lack of a better word, fortunately, this has happened before to where we can look back and see how things turned out.
Unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I could just say, unfortunately, things have happened before, so now we know how they're going to turn out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we are fortunate, like, you know what I mean? It's fortunate that it did because it,
Yeah,
you know,
we are fortunate that we can look back at this other situation that was a tragedy and be like, yeah, we can't let this happen again.
it takes something away from it, and yeah.
Kind of funny how people just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You know, it's like,
It's funny until this shit happens. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, it's not.
right, but whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And what is it, Jed?
Bullshit. Authoritarian bullshit.
It really.
I don't know, man. You ever feel like you can't really make a difference, though?
Yeah, I do feel that.
That's the thing, though. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that we can't make a difference. They want you to think that we're separated, that we're weak. We have to remember that we're strong, and there's a lot of us. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
That's like hate speech now, dude.
Like when does it become hate speech when citizens mock the government? That's my question, right? Because people do it all the time, and it's like, when will the government be like, if you make fun of the government, we will.
They can't.
Like some litigation bullshit.
As soon as they do, as soon as they try to stop our freedom of speech.
If you argue with somebody who says that
we're already doing it, Jed, free speech,
America's a shithole. If you argue with somebody who says America's a shithole and they don't like it here, and you just say like, I'm on the side of America and I want America to succeed at whatever way, you can totally get shit talked for that.
Right.
No, man.
By saying I'm behind America.
No, like I want America
state because America is a white country made by white men for advancing the white people or something. You know, it's like, even to say this is a good place and you want the best for it is like, you're just by saying that, which used to be the one thing that united people. You're open to criticism, which is baffling to me.
Like, I'll say this right now, like, I want America to succeed, you know? Like, the people, the culture, I want America to succeed. I want the government to get their heads out of their asses and actually start caring about the people, you know? We have all these senators, congressmen, and fucking governors and shit that just, you know, they're caring about themselves. They're caring about the businesses that fund their campaigns, you know?
Bush.
I want people to start taking care of, you know, I want America to be for the people, by the people, not by the corporations, for the corporations.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, we all feel that way, and
you know, I'd say that there could be a lot done with like corporations and like wanting them to succeed, but building them around, like making them more accountable as far as making sure that their entry-level employees, even down to the lowest guy, succeeds. Like, can you really make billions of dollars and then pay your entry-level employee not enough to pay his rent?
Yeah, that's kind of what irks me a little bit, is like, let's at least raise some kind of
hey,
I'm not
Amazon
saying
minimum wage now is $15 an hour.
Well, I'm not saying.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that's like one example, you know.
Well, no, Amazon. Yeah. Jed, that's what I'm talking about. Is doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying across the board, right? Because then mom and pop shops are hurting, right? It's like, you know, not across the board, because that is stupid. That inflation, people don't get economics when they say, oh, across the board, a flat, the federal minimum wage or a state minimum wage. Yeah. You know, that's not. Yeah.
No.
What you're talking about with Amazon, yes, I agree. That is how to do it. That's exactly how to do it. Because if you can afford as a company to do that, you're going to hire more employees, and it's going to be beneficial, and they can pay their rent like you. You can pay your rent and do it with enough to do other things too. You're not just getting by paycheck to paycheck. That's one thing that for sure is rough.
I was for a little while there, but there were some other extenuating circumstances going on with like, changing rent to like a new place, waiting for my check to come in, and then I was having car problems. So like, there was a while there where I was, paycheck to paycheck, but like now that, I've gotten some stuff taken care of and like, I got my bills back on track. I'm getting to that point now where like I pay my bills and at the end of the month I still have money left over. And then in the next month I pay all my bills and I have even more money left over. And it's like, oh fuck, I must be doing something right,
Yes.
So like, it's just, it's a great feeling, it's a load off your mind. You're not thinking like, oh, I have to wait till next week to pay this bill, even though it's due now because, I don't get paid until then. It's like I can just, start of the month, all the bills are done, and then I'm good. And I'm saving up for next month. It's really nice.
Say that Amazon probably has such a public eye on it. Like, first of all, they employ so many people. Second of all, the whole world's buying products from him, and they know he's the richest guy in the world. So they have such an eye on him that you better treat your employees fair.
Yeah. And I think he's
have that kind of
well,
eye.
and that's an example of I sometimes I get on Jeff Bezos a little bit, but that's something that I can actually appreciate because he can provide a lot to the little guy, in a way. So yeah, I do kind of get on him a little bit, make fun of him, but looks like a little rugrat.
Sorry, man.
Jeez.
Hello. What's your name?
You say hi. Hi, I'm shy. Run along.
Run along, child.
No, well, it just seems like there isn't a logical compromise as far as, well, we're going to give these tax breaks to these large business owners, but we're not going to say anything to what they're going to do with their money if they can just invest heavily back into their own company and then get more tax breaks. Or, is there any way that we can get this money that they're saving and guarantee it gets into the hands of their employers?
Right.
Not everyone's a honest person.
Yeah. I mean, that would, there's a lot that can be done, right? Mm-hmm. If only Congress did it. Like, this could be a thriving country again, right? Like, listen, I'm not a big Trump guy, but like, make America great again. That speaks to people. There's a reason for that, right? It's because
but I don't know, man. Because that's what I'm saying. How just saying make America great, it causes so much friction too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it causes friction and shit, but it's like, I mean,
America was never
wrong
great.
With making your, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're playing devil's advocate a little bit. It's like, why not? Why wouldn't you want your country to be great? You know what I mean? Have pride for your country. It's where you live. It's your, you live there.
It's what you have.
It's your future generation.
But like, when you see this trend, you're like, you got a baby on the way. Like, personally, I wouldn't really want to. Landon said this himself. Like, he's prepping for disaster here. Doesn't want to have kids. Like, I'm sure like he's not the only one that's like putting off having kids because he doesn't want to, bring a baby into the world when he thinks it might it's just gonna fall apart.
Drop, and what if I won't be able to go to the store and buy formula?
Yeah.
So like, it's a scary thing for like the entire country, and not even just the country, like the whole fucking world. It's
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, man. Congratulations.
It depends, I guess, what you have faith in, man. What gives you courage, to.
Yeah.
Someone told me one time. They said, in the Bible it says a child is born with bread in their mouth, meaning like you'll always find a way to feed for your kids.
Right.
But that being said, it might not be super responsible to have 8 kids out here and a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was always taught growing up. My mom always said, "Don't have any more kids than you can afford to feed, and take care of." But
that's right. That's 18 years, and you gotta provide, and then probably more, definitely, especially like in what's that gonna be, 2038 or no, that'd be 2048 or 2049 by the time that she would be 18, he or she would be 18.
Who, me?
No, 18 years. 18 years, so 39. Yeah, 2039. That's like the. But then like you have to think about college and shit, and then like you gotta just prepare for everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, how big is your commitment? Honestly, man. There's a lot of
right,
people who say, "Oh, you're 18. I made it here," and that's it. I don't know how you could be that cold. I don't know. Some people are
right,
like that.
exactly. So more than that, that's another. Especially the way the economy is going. I mean, I for a while I thought like, yeah, I wanted to do things a little different in my house if I had kids, right? I would be like the first of my household. You know how like back in the day you would have this you'd get like a mansion, right? So here's what I was thinking to do. I'd have a mansion, right? And I'd have my kids. Well, my kids would live there, right? But they would live there like their whole lives, and we would have a garden in the back, and we would all tend to the garden, and we would all, that way when I get old, the kids can take care of me, and then I can take care of the kids, and then babysitting isn't it's not a walk across the street, it's or a mile down the road, it's right there. So it's like everyone takes care of each other in this big mansion, this big estate, right? And so and that way you're closer with all of your family. You're not like, oh, we're gonna go to grandma's house. It's like, oh, you're at grandma's house. That's like a
Yeah.
fulfilled
I
life,
think.
like one big house. But since
Nah,
then
dude,
I've
I've thought
tended
about
to
that
stay away
too.
from that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
dude, I've thought about that
I
too. Like
think.
just like a compound and shit.
Well, I think when you have kids, and I mean that's most of what your life is dedicated to, right? Like you go to work all day to pay for them, and you spend all your free time teaching them, spending time, giving love, So really, what's giving you joy in life at that point is that sense of family, right? So I don't think that would end when they turned 18, etc. You'd want to keep that sense of family and community and closeness. And why wouldn't you want the thing that derives the most happiness in your life around you all the time like that? You know,
Right.
uh, that's actually kind of something that you stumbled on, man, which I had thought about forever, which I always thought was kind of a cool idea. Uh, is people, and they do it a lot down in like Texas, I guess. There's, but I think just warmer climates like that in general, um, where people have bought communes and they build.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny as fuck, man. We're over here talking like such adult conversations. Like, at like Thanksgiving, you didn't want to be at that table, but here we are. We're making the table. We're talking about shit, but we just get older. Starting to be an adult. It's, one of those things, right?
Yeah, like no shit,
So
man. Take me back to the
it,
kiddie table,
it
man. That's
helps
where I
me.
want to be.
For
It
real.
definitely helps
No
me to be around
bills.
people and have these conversations because it just keeps you on track.
Yeah.
You got to be around people who are the same goal oriented as you, and you know, have the same commitments to people as you. Well, people who take their role in their life seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Jed,
Anyways, we should crack a beer.
let's do
Ready?
it. Yep.
3, 2.
Yeah. Here's for honor. Yeah, you guys know the rest.
Yeah, here's for honor or something. I don't know. I haven't done that since
Junior high.
No.
I haven't done that
No,
since
I
eighth grade.
remember that, man. I know Jed fucks with the O'Donnell. He was like that big and heavy. We used to always do that. We'd be partying with him and everyone do like whole chugs and shit.
Dude, I
How's
can't
that
keep
go,
up
man?
with it, man.
Huh?
I remember there was one time like we were over at your place in the basement. It was like, me, Pat, Timmy, I think
Yeah.
you and Mark, and
Yeah.
like I was trying to keep up with just Patrick. And fuck, dude, I got so wasted. I couldn't even do it.
You're not gonna keep up
Nah,
with the Adonis.
I think I could keep up with Patrick now just because like he hasn't been drinking for a while. But
cheese balls.
She loves him. She crying for him.
yo, like no shit though. The other day I was opening up a trailer at work, and
Oh
I
my
opened up the
god,
trailer.
Dad. Talk about fucking work. Here we go.
No. Trust me.
Yeah, we're Amazon. Here we go.
Nah,
We gotta fit
trust
one
me.
of these stories in here.
All right. No, so I opened up this trailer at work to put it on a door so it can get unloaded, right? I open up the door. The entire truck is just full of pallets and pallets of cheese puffs. Like the big jars, the big, like just like that big tub, like you got right there. Just pallets and pallets. I was like, damn, that's a lot of cheese puffs.
I'm telling you, man, she eats about one of these every like month and a half.
Bro, that's not healthy, man. You
And
gotta
I
get her
don't-
on
I
a
can't
healthier
stand that.
snack, bro.
Oh, she cries for him though, man.
Oh,
Hey, you
I
gotta beat
can't.
that out of her.
You gotta wean her off on like a veggie or some shit, something healthy.
There you go. Like, you can only have cheese puffs if you eat your broccoli.
As
I
we're
know that's the big problem,
getting
man.
here,
It's like
right?
waking up in
Giving
the
healthy
morning, making
nutrition
breakfast or
advice.
something, and making her a whole plate, and then she's like throws it on the floor. I want cheese puffs. Like,
Ah, well, guess you're gonna be hungry today.
Yeah, that's what I would. That's what would happen to me for sure.
Yeah, that's what it was when growing up. Like, oh, you don't want what I made for dinner? Guess you're not eating. Always backfired on Ma though, because with my dad, we always did like, gutters and shit. He would pay us, like $10 an hour. Before $10 an hour was like minimum wage. I mean, I guess it still isn't, but like, back when like most people our age were only making like $7.25, my old man's paying me $10 an hour to do work with him. So Mom would be like, if you don't want what I made for dinner, you can't eat. And I'd be like, all right, I'll be right back. And I'd like walk my happy ass up to Casey's and buy a couple sandwiches and come back and be like, all right, let's eat. And Mom would just sit there like fuming, like, oh, I'm thwarted again.
you know what, man? I got beef with the minimum wage system.
Yeah?
Yeah, for
What's
real.
your beef?
I don't think there should be a minimum wage at all. I think if somebody wants to pay you a penny an hour, they could be able to.
Yeah, because you agree to it, right? Like when you sign a contract.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know
you sign.
I think it adds to inflation, first of all, because now we're setting this point like, hey, everything's going to cost at least this much because that's how much everyone's getting an hour, right?
Here's
But
my thing.
I think it takes away jobs from people. I'm sorry, let me just get one point out. Okay, let's say, look, you have a son or something, and he's slow, right? He's not completely incapable of taking care of himself, but he's not the brightest,
Right.
in the batch. He was born that way. He had problems with school, whatever. Okay, cool. Or you're
Cool, man.
14
Totally
years
lit.
old, or you're 14 and you're from like a really impoverished neighborhood and you're poor, and you don't have school clothes or whatever. The point is that teenage kid should be able to buy himself clothes for school if he can get a job working for a mom and pop shop that's paying him $5 an hour, because he doesn't have any skills, right? He's never worked. He doesn't have any skills, so he's not really worth paying X amount of dollars.
Right.
Let's say
It
this
still
store owner
helps
says,
him
"I can't
out.
afford to pay you $8.25. Also, you're not really worth $8.25."
Yeah.
And same
Yeah,
with,
I think a lot of the
if you're like a slower person as a grown adult, well, I can't afford to pay him $8.25 because he's having trouble bagging groceries or whatever. But if I could afford to pay him $5-6 an hour, and then that's something extra for him. Maybe that. I mean, he's at least making a living at that point.
Right.
I think a lot of the talk about like minimum wage comes from people that are working jobs that they should have left a while ago. Like you'll have these like, people that are working at McDonald's and like that they're trying to make that like their job, like their career. I'm
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't be 30 years old working at McDonald's. That's a high
Unless
schooler's
you
job.
own it, right? And you're like you're coming in there and helping
Yeah.
people out, filling
know?
a manager role or whatever. But
Yeah,
I
like if
mean
you're a
that you
manager,
should always
sure.
strive. For me at least, I strive to like I just got a job, but I'm already trying to look for the next best thing, right?
Yeah.
And progress in the real estate business.
Obtain a skill set and then keep obtaining skill sets. Never stop.
Yes, don't
growing
stop. You
knowledge.
don't be stagnant because you're not learning, you're not growing, you're not getting a different perspective on life, different perspective on certain situations. For me, I always strive to do something better. Like the other day I was talking to my manager and I was like, "Hey, can I have some more responsibility?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, give me more responsibility. Like I want teach me something. I can't just sit here." Plus security, it's kind of a fucking lame job, right? You're just you've got to watch people and shit, but like I always am like, give me responsibility. I want to do something. I need to learn and test. Kind of, it's almost like testing your ability too. Like, can I learn it? If I don't, you're gonna fail, right? So some things in life, people just got to realize that you're gonna fail, and I think that's also a problem giving people like participation trophies or like making like there was this soccer game in some state I think it was a soccer game, and they were playing against each other, right? And then they never kept score, and they never told who won. It's like, what? And it was because they didn't want to hurt, like they didn't want the kids to fail or something. It's like
That's
you
pretty
are
common.
literally setting them up for failure that way. Like,
Yeah. I mean, through failure we
prepared
learn,
to
you know.
fail.
You go out
ask
there and
any millionaire, billionaire, successful person. I shouldn't say millionaire, billionaire. That doesn't define success. I know people who fucking cry to death in their fucking Lamborghinis. So fucking anybody that's successful, ask them. They failed again and again and again. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they were facing bankruptcy. They went through bankruptcy. I think Jeff Bezos, when he was 23 or 4, 23. I think he was working at McDonald's or some shit.
Yeah.
And he was like he was failing, and it's like you gotta keep trying, keep chugging along, like hope, right? Hope, keep hope, keep chugging along.
Yeah, I mean,
lost
Bezos, man, he started.
Am I saying his name wrong, Jed? Do you have like staff meetings where it's like, all right, guys, Jeff Bezos came down from the big guy today? I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. Is it Bezos?
I think we put a lot of
Bezos.
emphasis on college.
What, Jed? Or Logan? Restart?
Money,
what?
Go ahead.
I couldn't hear the first part for some reason.
Jed of me. Sorry.
You, Logan? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I just think we put a lot of like emphasis, especially in Illinois, like this where we're from. You know, it's a big college state. Go to college. I think there's a lot less skills being learned at a job. You know, it's not like get a job, learn. You know, if I get a job at McDonald's making minimum wage, and then I do so many years there, and then the maintenance guy quits, and then I work with the other maintenance guy to learn how to fix fryers, etc. Now I know how to operate on 120 or whatever, 240 voltage and shit like that. I know a little bit about electric. Now I get a job as a maintenance person at any. You know, there's a lot like your grandfather came right out of school and had a job and could feed like a whole family, and was learning skills the whole time.
Exactly.
So when he was 50 years old, he was able to make some money. You know, he was making money. Now it's like go to school, accumulate a bunch of debt. And we're sending everyone to school anyways. So just to be average, you know, just to be normal.
Yeah. You didn't go to college? Oh. Okay. Fucking loser. Like.
No, I mean, I went a slightly different route, dude. You know, and I ended up at a job. Well, first I ended up at a job that was real shitty, you know, where I wasn't going to learn anything. And then, you know, I told myself after years and years of no raise and no advancement, what are you doing with yourself?
Right.
So I just grinded 1,000 applications, was choosy, and you know I found something. I put myself in a situation to learn and say like I want to learn this and that. I mean I'm at a place right now where they're really into like teaching you skills. I think that's something that people should value more when they get a job. I think a lot of times people go, I can make another $2 an hour if I take this job. I'm there. I'm with it. You know. And they don't go, well, where's my room for improvement?
Yeah.
Right.
And even if there's not room for an improvement, because I will say that I've seen many jobs where, I'm sorry, there's room for improvement, but not room for financial, like big raises. I'm not going to make a bunch of money. Or maybe I'm doing a job where I should make a lot more money, but I'm learning the skill here. They might be paying me a shit wage, and I'm doing a job that I should get paid a lot more, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do this the rest of my life. I'm going to learn that skill, and I'm going to take that job that's going to pay me better money.
Right.
It is rough. I feel for people who went to college for 4+ years and got giant student loans, and because they were told all their life that was how they were gonna make it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not to say I don't value education, because I value education tenfold, but I don't think we preach kids the same things at school like we do. Hey, take an apprenticeship here or there. It's always go to a 4-year college, get a 4-year degree, go to college. You know,
yeah.
I don't think they don't tell people, hey, learn a trade or what's really for you.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
What's your real life situation? Because do you have somewhere to live for the next 4 years?
Yeah, and well, to go along with that, man, like the education system is so outdated compared to like the technology we have, right? So like, if I wanted to learn anything, if I was truly passionate about it and selective, I could get online. Number one, I could YouTube. There's a lot of credible sources on YouTube. A lot of people are
YouTube
like,
University, man.
YouTube. Yeah, it's like you can do so much with the internet. Like I keep saying this, it's the age of information. This is the age of information. 100%. Like it's you to have a degree, that's nice and all. It's like showing I can follow orders basically.
Yeah, but like there
to
should
me.
be a way you can like learn that on your own, and then go somewhere and be tested on your knowledge and be like, does he know how to do this? Does he know this and that? Like, can he do this? Like, I shouldn't have to pay for 4 years for you to teach me something that I can go like spend a couple weeks online and figure out.
Exactly. Couple weeks online.
I feel like employers should do a better job of, okay, now prove that you know what you claim you know.
Well, they do.
Maybe you didn't go to school and at all, but you work for Bobby Joe, whatever, and take a test that proves like, hey, I can put this on paper and I know this skill backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Right. And then, then you get into the point of like, you'll have these jobs that are entry level jobs, and they'll be like, oh, here's the requirements. You have to have a 4-year degree in the subject and 5 years of experience. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought you said this was an entry level.
Right.
Entry level should mean no experience needed.
That's what
no degree needed.
Those type of things. It's like entry level. That blows my mind because it's like, what are you talking about? This is an entry level. This is a seasoned person that you want in here to fill the position.
Yeah.
Don't fucking advertise it as an entry level.
Entry level with 2 experience, like 2 years experience. I love that.
It's like, wow.
Entry level position requires 2 years experience.
Maybe they're looking for, like, when they do that, like, if I was an employer, I might do that just to fucking see who applies, because some people are going to be dismayed or dissuade from applying. It's like, okay, you applied even though you don't have but maybe you have what it takes in your head, like you got confidence, you know what I mean? Right. Maybe that's why they do that, but I honestly don't know. But that's the only reason myself as an employer, if I was one, like that's why I would do it, is to see like who's got the balls to like take a jump into the wave pool, right? See how they do the wave pool of just this motion that's already been in motion. It's like, let's see how they go, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I think a large part of that is the minimum wage again, because saying a job is entry level when it's really not. Okay, but you have to pay a minimum wage, so you can't hire someone for that job that's less than minimum wage. So you're taking on a job that actually has more responsibilities than what it implies.
Right.
Or it's more work, and it's actually worth more money.
Maybe not. Yeah, it just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why they do that, and I don't like that they do that. But I can see why people do it.
Okay.
But I did see an interview where some guy said he was one of the people that actually made one of the like job boards. He's the one that like actually put it up, and he realized that when he put it up and he put 4 years experience required, this was a new technology that just came out, and he was like, why am I asking for 4 years experience if this technology just came out? And doing that. So, it's just weird how that happens, but
well, real quick, man, like we never really talked. Like what do you do, man? What's your job? Tell us about your day-to-day life.
My job's not super exciting, man. But, I'm just working class, man, but I opted to take a job that was, more labory, just because, I got to bust my ass and support my family, Right now I work in manufacturing, and I work on a tube mill. So I take steel coils all the way from these big, huge wraps coming in on trains down to, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to 4-inch wide tubing, 11 gauge to 1/4-inch thick steel. And, I operate my machinery as such, man, my little pressure gauges and this and that, take my little numbers, do my little math. It's been a learning process, and I work for a really good company. I will say that.
Yeah. It seems like it, man.
And it's good to get a company that gives you opportunities to learn and grow. I know it's rare, and sometimes people don't catch their break, man, but I'd say keep grinding, work your ass off, man, and keep applying, and know your worth, for sure.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Like know when you're getting the runaround, like know when they don't care about you. Like if your company doesn't care about you, you shouldn't be working there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like
Know your worth.
you know, like at Amazon, like in general, like I am just a number to like, you know, the higher ups, but like to my bosses, like, you know, my direct like reports, like they actually give a shit about me, you know. Like I call in sick, they double check at the end of the day, like, hey, you feeling better, you know, like how you doing? Like, you know, let me know when you can come back, you know, all
Well,
that kind of stuff. Like, you know, they actually, you know, I tell them like, oh yeah, I'm going home for the weekend, you know, I'll come back, you know, for work the next week, and they'll be like, yeah, so how was being back home? And I'm like, oh, you know, it's really good to see the fam, and they're like, oh, that's awesome, man.
okay, so they do care. I was gonna say if
Yeah,
they asked like, "Oh, are you feeling better?" then
yeah,
probably
right,
just them being like, "You gonna come in tomorrow?"
right.
But, yeah, at
And you know,
least
to
they
an
ask
extent, they
how
do
it's
care
going.
about that for like staffing, but like, you know, they actually do care, like, you know, that I'm living a good life, and you know, when I was having car problems, they're like, yeah, anything we can do like to help, like, let us know. I was like, oh, thanks,
Yeah.
man, appreciate it. It's like, you know, it's
Yeah.
nice that for such a big company, my managers at least care about me. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
That's one thing I do have is I work at a smaller factory, which is kind of rare. You know, usually there's a lot of people there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they put more importance on making sure they have well-rounded employees rather than having a way more employees.
Yeah, that's a
Quality.
big thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you can have like, you know, like new employees every freaking week if you want, and like just constantly be training people. But like, it's much better for your business if you just have experienced employees that like when they come to a problem, they know how to solve it instead of having to call somebody. You know.
Well, and yeah, and making a job where people want to stay, which is
That
nice.
too.
Right.
You know, they offer a
Doesn't look good
competitive
when
wage and
they got a turnover rate that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like that's good
right.
too. So it does seem like anytime you call me, and by the way, folks, me and Logan talk like every fucking weekend, if not every, yeah, every weekend now. But like we talk for hours on end, and it seems like, yeah, it seems like you got a good gig going, man. And more importantly, you're a family man at home. I think that's more important than what you actually do for money, because you're out there, you know, and you know,
Well,
you don't get
everything
to
I
see your
have,
kid.
I will say, man, everything I have, bro, I owe to this job. You know, uh, I wouldn't be able to provide for my family without this.
Right.
So it really does, you know, mean a lot to me. Everything I have, I owe to Hannah Steele. That's where I work. And
Fucking, they're listening right now. They're going like, "We got him,
Hey, we're
got him in the
sponsored by
balls."
Hannah Steve.
Fucking tonight's show is sponsored by Hannah Steele in Peoria, Illinois.
you know, well, just it means a lot to somebody, man. When you come from, I mean, I could sit here and tell you this whole story of how I met my woman and, you know, how we found out she was pregnant, and we're just, you know, I was working a dead end job and just getting by, and to catch that break, and it, you know, it means a lot. It really does, man, to actually be able to provide the kind of life that you want for your family. Uh,
Yeah, it kind of goes back to like, you know, whoever's there for you at your lowest point, like those are the ones you keep around, you know. The friends that are there for the good times aren't your real friends, you know. The friends that are there with you when you're, you know, dragging through the fucking muck and they're right next to you, man. There's like, shit, you know, this is a bad time, but we're gonna get through it together. Like those are the ones you gotta keep
oh,
around. So like,
most
you know,
definitely. I mean, you guys know me. Not to talk too much, but you know, growing up, man, I had a lot of friends that weren't really my friends, and I got in some troubles and stuff like that. And then I just kind of restarted my whole life when I came here, man. I cut ties with a lot of people, and I made sure everyone around me was uh, goal oriented and had the same mentality that I do.
Right.
that's big.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta cut those ties, man. That's hard.
definitely.
But hey, I want to say thanks for coming on the podcast. You were highly you were highly requested, and yeah, I think this is a very productive and great conversation
Yeah, I think
podcast
we're
we
definitely
had.
gonna have to have you on again in the future.
Maybe
Yeah, you
40,
know,
episode 40, huh?
yeah,
We'll
every
get you on for
20.
every you know, might be a 20.
I'd love to, man. You know, I know we didn't talk about it a whole lot on the podcast, but lifelong friends, and well, my brother as well. I know he's not
Right.
on right now, but obviously my brother, and Lane since the second grade. Jed since before then. I mean, all the way through school together, all our lives.
Dude, I'm pretty sure we were like friends while we were still in the fucking womb, honestly.
In the womb. Actually, Jed's mom and my mom are friends. So
Yeah, like that's how
tell
tight
you.
it is. Like,
He's
Well,
pretty
you
much.
guys
and
come
like
from
it also just like happened to work out that like you and me were the same age, and like both of our older brothers were the same age. So like, it's almost like they planned that shit out. You know?
When your parents have been friends for like 20 plus years, then you're cousins. He's essentially now he's my cousin.
Basically, yeah.
Basically. People thought me and Logan were fucking brothers or cousins. Well, with football, the way we got on the same team was we said, "Oh, we're cousins," and they were like, "Okay," so they put me. And him on.
We did. We sure did.
But
So yeah, exactly, man. I'm always there for you guys, man, and I'd love to do it again. If you ever have any openings or free time, I'd love to be on, and keep the people updated on what's going on with me.
yeah, for sure. Man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be down home ways this like next week. I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna get together and have some fun.
All right, man. I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Just let the people know. Please like this video and subscribe and comment, and let me know if you want to see any more of me or if you hated the video. I'll cry
Hey, he's
about
serious though. Like real shit. Like you need to like and comment on this video. Like like the fate of the world depends on this.
Yeah,
you know?
the fate of the world, right? Yeah,
Like if you don't like, subscribe, and comment, like the world is going to end.
China.
Like that's what's gonna happen.
If you like this content, you want to see
China's
more of it.
Like you got to.
China's pretty much got us by the balls, and we'll see what happens. But yeah,
I mean, it's right there. You see the button.
You're already watching the
button.
video.
All you got to do is
right
click.
There.
It's right there. It's like
you don't even have to pause the video.
Right down there. Click it.
Like it's just like, comment, subscribe. You
really
keep watching the video
not
while
that hard.
you do it.
I think a monkey could do it.
It takes nothing away from
not
you.
to insult
and you're not
you.
as dumb as a monkey.
No, you're not. Let's be real.
It doesn't cost anything.
And the way that you can prove you're not as dumb as a monkey is that you just do it. So then you're at least equivalent to a monkey, right? So you just want to set that bar high. Anyways, I want to do a shout out to our recent subscribers. So we have the What's Up 14. Thank you for subscribing. We have also What's Your Mother? Oh, she takes an interest in the Gentleman's Bureau. I didn't know if you knew that. But yeah, Mandy Cooper Cortez, thank you for subscribing. Means a lot to us. And actually, Watts himself actually subscribed. Travis Platt, you're a recent subscriber. Thank you so much. And one last one, we're going to do Rockford Hickory. Thank you for subscribing. And once again, we've beat it into your head. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you think. So thank you again.
Attaboy.
And
Gentleman's Bureau Podcast. Check it out.
Gentleman's Bureau Podcast. All day.
Trained by day, Gentleman's Bureau Podcast by night.
All day.
Every day.
I think we're going to get like copyright for that one.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
It'll bring and we've got to get like a big conspiracy, like a big lawsuit or something, bring some traffic to the channel,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, who are these people? Yeah.
Some big controversy, and they're like, well, we got to
help
check
us
this
grow,
out.
guys. Help us grow. And if honestly, if you guys have anybody that that you would think would be a great guest for us, and whether it be they agree with us or they don't agree with us, we're gonna have everybody on eventually.
Yeah.
Like left, right, up, down, purple, yellow, blue, doesn't matter. We're gonna have everybody that we can on to get different points of view, because that's what we do here. Thanks guys for subscribing. If you subscribed, if you haven't, think about doing so. If you want to hang out a couple episodes or check out our other episodes, please do so. And once again, thanks guys. Talk to you later.
Oh, also, real quick, we're trying to get to 75 subscribers real quick, and once we do, we're gonna do something special for you guys. Like, we don't know what it is yet, but when we get to 75, something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. I don't know.
Something's gonna happen. We don't know.
Probably not. No, I'm just kidding.
You betcha.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Later. Peace.
Bye.